What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Angel R Talk, and you are tuned into the NYC Talking Podcast. Today, I want to talk about bullying.
The city of New York, Boricua from the Bronx.
Hey man, come on, guys, leave me alone. I think you're doing it wrong. Come on, guys, stop it. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
We'll never leave you alone.
You know, there are some people out there who say, man, today's kids are so soft. They need to be allowed to experience bullying. We protect them so much. Everybody gets a participation trophy and so on. There are no winners or losers here. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is a winner. Then there are some people out there who talk and advocate against bullying and the damaging effects of bullying.
You were just kids. You need to get over that crap, boy.
I just saw a video of a man who said when he was a kid he put a 45 in his mouth and he was going to blow his brains out because no one was around to help him in his bullying. Nothing is worth taking your life over. I agree with you. But unless you've been the victim of bullying to the degree that some of us have, you just wouldn't understand what it takes, what you feel that gets you to even consider such a possibility. He confronted the bully at a school district event where the bully was one of the administrators of the school district. Now mind you, these kids put his face in a urinal, covered him in urine, kicked the crap out of him, busted his lip, and no one helped him when he asked for help. That's what leads a kid to the point where they want to kill themselves. I mean, just stop and think for a second. How bad do things have to get for you, a young child, to consider taking a 45 and putting the damn thing in your mouth and ending it all? Just think about that for a second. How bad do things have to be for you? One of the comments stated, man, after 30 years you're still whining and crying about this? Guys, I'm 44 years old and I still feel the effects and trauma from all the bullying I experienced as a kid. I'm not walking around crying about it. I'm not walking around saying I want a trophy. But I'm telling you that the way I live my life, the way I experience the world, the way I walk the streets, all that, I carry that trauma with me. Why do you think I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Why do you think I lifted weights? Why do you think I have such an outgoing personality when I'm such a shy, quiet kid? These are all coping mechanisms. I think that I somehow associated being timid with weakness and fear. That's also a reason I teach Zumba and get in front of many people to expose myself, put myself in an uncomfortable position, and in my mind, grow. I had to go to therapy when I was a kid because of the similar reason. So there is validity to trying to end bullying. Watch the boy as he goes on his way, jealous of the cat that he's roaring today. Mama's working hard, sweating all day to give the little boy something cool to display. To know that his dad's so far away, fighting for the country, man, what would he say? Stop and consider the choice you can make. Is the starter cap worth all that hate? I don't believe we should put our children in a bubble. I don't believe that we should completely shield them from conflict. But if there comes a time where that kid feels like they need to end their life because of the bullying, then I'd say we've gone beyond allowing them to experience the world a bit.
You gotta let them kids get toughened up. When I was coming up, there were no protections.
That's a problem. And we as parents and people in authority now and teachers and coaches and principals should be helping and supporting these children. A child should never feel that they need to kill themselves. I covered a story on my YouTube channel years ago about a kid who killed himself because of bullying. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So what's my point? Maybe you personally never experienced bullying. Maybe you personally never got jumped. Maybe you personally never had your face shoved in a urinal. Maybe you personally didn't have somebody try to light your hair on fire on the bus in the Bronx. That's cool. Well, good for you, mother. But you don't get to tell someone like me, hey man, why you still think about that stuff? Hey man, why you still walk with that dude? Get over it. It doesn't quite work that way. You don't know what it was like. You don't know the experience. So you don't get to tell me that I need to get over it. You don't get to tell this man whose face was put in a urinal that it's cool, man. It was 30 years ago. Get over it. And then you, as the person who did it, you don't get to laugh when the guy tells the story. This guy laughed like it was something funny. Now, some of the people in the comments said, oh, that was a nervous laughter or something. I don't know. But you don't get to just... I mean, the guy should have apologized. He should have said, hey, man, we were kids, man. I'm sorry. I was a jerk. It was wrong. I'm really sorry for all the trauma I caused you.
I was an idiot, man. And I'm totally sorry that I put your face in a urinal, busted your lip, and kicked the crap out of you.
That would have been a proper response. This guy laughed and says, can you believe this? Yeah, bro. Yeah, I can believe it. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying an apology would make all that trauma go away. But it's a start. You as the perpetrator, maybe don't carry that memory. You don't carry the trauma because you're the one who did it. You weren't the victim. But if you had your face shoved in the urinal and your lip was busted and then they kicked the crap out of you and then you went and asked for help and no one helped you, I assure you, sir, you would remember. Some years ago, 2 people had sent me Facebook requests. Both were females, and both had humiliated me in front of large groups of people. One of them pretended to kiss me, then kneed me in the nuts, and the other one, she just came up to me and said, hey Angel, and when I turned around, she slapped me in the face in front of the entire class. When I mentioned this in response to their Facebook request, both of them blocked me. Imagine that. How about another joke, Murray? I loved the way everything transpired in that movie. Remember what the Joker did? If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. These things manifest themselves in different ways. And it is not something that a bully should be laughing about. That is a very foolish thing to do. It's insensitive and it's not cool. How about another joke, Murray? I was kind of hoping that the guy went over and slapped the crap out of him, to be honest with you. But people sometimes want to hurt themselves, or sometimes they go and hurt others. Sadly, and more often than not, these school shootings are the result of bullying. There was a period I started bringing a butcher knife to school, and I said, if these guys mess with me, I'm going to cut them up. It was like God was looking out for me. Because every time that I came to school armed with a weapon, they left me alone. They were actually cool with me, like they sensed the danger on a subconscious level. And then when I kind of calmed down and I no longer carried a weapon, it started again. I can't remember too much from that time, but I have flashes. And the pain, I can still feel that if I stop and think about it. But I can't remember the details all that much anymore. It's faded. It's the trauma that stays, the scar, though the details fade. I never really wanted to die. I just didn't want to go there and be abused. But I didn't want to die. I just wanted to get out of those circumstances, and I couldn't get out of those circumstances. So what were my choices? I didn't know what to do. You become depressed, and you start to, at that point, have some really bad thoughts. Thankfully, my mother noticed, and she got me help and therapy, and I worked through it somehow. I eventually dropped out of school to get myself out of that situation. I was actually a high performer. A and A plus only, baby. I didn't drop out because I was a bad performer or whatever. I left to get away from that. And I found my way. I still got my college degrees. I found my way. But not everybody is so lucky. So if you are ever confronted by someone who you bullied, perhaps have a little compassion. I'm not saying break into tears. I'm not saying grovel and beg for forgiveness. But have a little compassion and apologize for the things you did. Let me reiterate and let's be clear. It ain't gonna change shit. The trauma is still there. But damn, at least it might help them a little. You piece of shit. Because you never know the state of mind of the person who's talking to you. I'm just saying. You don't know what his life has been like up until now. You don't know if my man's been holding a grudge. You don't know what's coming your way. Think about the things that are happening in the world today. Just have a little compassion and maybe say, hey man, I'm sorry. You know, I've never been a bully, but I have wronged people. It happens, we're humans. And you know what I have done? I have always tried to find those people and to tell them, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm truly sorry. I made a mistake. It really doesn't take a lot of courage to pick on someone who's weaker than you, does it? But to own your mistake and to go and apologize, now that takes some real courage. Own it. Apologize, and hopefully the person can forgive you. But that's really on them. It's very hard to make up for all those years of trauma. It's a lifelong thing. So to that idiot, the one saying he should get over it, I can't even really say what I'm thinking because we're trying to keep this podcast clean. But you can imagine. And to those of you who were bullies and tormented people, have compassion and apologize. Or you might run into that one guy who went and learned jiu-jitsu and hasn't forgotten, and maybe will choke you out.
How about another joke, Mary?
You are listening to the NYC Talking podcast. www.nyctalking.com. Please like NYC Talking on Facebook. Please follow Angel R Talk on Twitter and Instagram. We are NYC Talking, the realest lifestyle blog ever. Thanks for listening.